The market is pumping. We went up above $98,000 last night. We're getting a little bit of a pullback. Could you even call it that? Pullback into the $96,000 range, already pushing back up 96 to 97.2. We got a guest coming on today. Let's go ahead and get this stream retweeted out. Let's show some love. Let's get this out to everybody you can. We got Jesse Olson coming on, breaking down some key targets we got to look at. We're talking about altcoins. We're talking about so much going on in this market. So everybody head over to @Kellam or @Academy BitLab. Get this retweeted out. We got some freaking monster charts that we're looking at today. So every single one of you, we've been stacking into this. We've been preparing. We've been cutting things out of other parts of our life so we can take the best advantage of this opportunity. And it's starting to bear that fruit. That's what we are here for. Let's talk about what's going on in this market. We got that pump song coming on here in just a second, and it feels so good with as these markets are ripping like they are, with the best setup that we've ever had in the history of the crypto markets. Golly, I'm so damn bullish. How are you feeling, everybody? Let's see everybody get active in the live chat. Roll call right now. If you are here, either comment down below the Twitter video or comment in the live chat here on YouTube. Show some love. We got to get this music playing. I'm getting this retweeted out as we speak, but let's go ahead and it's time to vibe, everybody. It is time to frickin' vibe.
Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. SEC and its policies rely on whatever Gary thinks. Bitcoin's a flight to quality. I heard that from Larry Fink. Every hour losing purchasing power on foolish shelter. It's not our fault. Blame the cult. It's the political cowards. When it comes to gas, our purchasing power just got cut in half. I sit back and laugh, open my bag, fill it with stacks and sats. Bitcoin, pumping, altcoins, pumping. I've been prepared for this. Can't tell me nothing.
And I believe crypto will play that type of role as a flight to quality. We are hearing from clients around the world.
Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pumping. I've been prepared for this.
And I believe crypto will play that type of role as
Bitcoin, pump, altcoin, pumping.
we are hearing from clients around the world.
Can't nobody tell me nothing.
Crypto, depending on how you think about it. And I believe crypto will play that type of role as a
Can't
flight
nobody
to
tell me
quality.
nothing. Bitcoin, pump.
We are hearing from clients around the world.
Prepared for this.
It's time, everybody. We got to dive into these charts. This is the most exciting part of the crypto market cycle, and we have all been stacking into this. Everybody, throw one in chat if you've got predominantly green in your portfolio. If you don't have green in your portfolio, something's wrong. Let's get into it. Let's go. Hit that like button. Let's go. What's up, friends? What's up, fam? I hope the audio, visual, everything is good. I'm still here in Vegas. I'm doing that event tonight at Mike Tyson's house, but we got to talk about what's going on here in these markets because, golly, we had price action push up. What level is this? Does this really say over $98,000 last night? Holy moly. I had a hard time sleeping, and then I ended up waking up at like 4 a.m. Obviously, it's 3 hours back here, so it's like 7 a.m. back in Atlanta. But I just could not ignore what was happening in these charts. I was active tweeting on Twitter and doing some updates in the BitLab Discord. But look at what's going on with this. And where is this? Is this set to continue to break down, or is this going to pump up? We're going to talk about that more in just a little bit. We got Jesse Olson coming on in about 15 minutes or so, 15, 20 minutes. But we got some things we got to go through because the market, I mean, look at this, $3.2 trillion, as we can see here. Bitcoin on the verge of breaking through that $2 trillion mark. We're going to run through some data here. talk about where this pump is coming from. Is it something that can be sustained? And what we need to do about it. Where is this going? And we got again Jesse Olson coming on here a little bit. We're gonna be breaking down some charts. We're gonna be breaking down some TA. We got to talk about so much that's going on here in the market. So let's dive into it. This is what I shared yesterday. I said, Bitcoin bears, your thesis is dead. Concede. Here's why. And this is one of the things I've been talking about the last couple of days. And this is actually quite a bit higher than this now. Right after I posted this, market cap continued to rip higher. But 100K Bitcoin, largest this will be when we break through this. It's going to be the largest free marketing in history as all media outlets push that news. U.S. National Strategic Reserve for Bitcoin coming with 200,000 buys per year over 5 years, 16 billion coming back to the market from the FTX redistributions, getting the money back to the people that's been sidelined. In addition to that, we have Sailor Racing. He says, what did he say? 42 billion over 3 years. And we talked about this the other day. Plan C posted this as well. I don't think this is going to be something that's going to take 3 years to deploy. In fact, because of this right here, this which starts the race of all nation states that want to stay on anywhere near equal footing with the U.S. Everybody's going to be saying, how do we get involved with this? In fact, Bhutan has mined over $1 billion in Bitcoin already. And this is only just getting started. And Sailor, 42 billion over 3 years? No, sir. This is going to happen much faster. We're going to see these tweets coming out, almost probably every couple weeks of just 2 billion, 1 billion, 5 billion, 3 billion Bitcoin buys coming into the market. And this is also starting an international Bitcoin arms race, not only for the nation states, but also specifically for corporations. And of course, we know Microsoft is about to vote on stacking Bitcoin, kicking off the top cap. Basically, like you think Netflix, you think Amazon, you think Apple, you think Meta, and Nvidia. They're going to be racing to also get their Bitcoin strategy outlined. There's already been $62 billion deployed in Bitcoin market in the last 30 days. Over $62 billion. That includes ETFs, that includes MicroStrategy, that includes Bitcoin. This is all incredible. It's only just begun, and yet some bears still hold on to the most irrelevant and blatantly wrong thesis in the history of any monetary assets. It's up from here, so stack. Dips are for buying. Buy like your future depends on it, because it does. And this, everybody, let's have a moment of silence for the Bears. No, we're not going to even give them that, because they're already hurting. We don't need to give them a moment of anything. Now, continuing on here, we need to point this out. This is something that is very important. Cynthia Loomis retweeted this from Jack Mallers. Let's just go ahead and hear what he has to say. This is why it is so important. Now, hopefully this is working. It's not working. Okay. Give me a second. It's not going to work here, so I'm just going to post this link for you all to go and listen to this. I just posted that in the live chat there. Go and get, for whatever reason, it's not picking up the audio on. Picking up the audio. So, okay, we'll continue on. He essentially talks about some key points in history where we have these major economic impact statements coming from the government, like confiscating the gold in 1933, going off the gold standard, divorcing the dollar from being backed by gold in 1971, bailing out banks in 2008. All these terrible things that just have such a negative impact over time for the US dollar, for our currency, for our country, for our economy. And this in turn has a major effect on the world economy as well, based on what's happening with the health of the US economy. Now, if we get this strategic Bitcoin reserve in 2025, this will be the first time in history we're actually making a real economic announcement that, hey, we're doing something that actually is going to, I don't want to say reverse, but be a major, major, major bandage on the economic destruction that our government has done all the way back since 1913, when we started taxing income tax and basically started the Fed as well. This is the change we're looking for. That's essentially what he talks about there. Now, continuing on, we also got the dominoes, guys. The dominoes are falling. After the market already was started to rip, we also see Shanghai court says crypto ownership legal under China law amid Bitcoin surge. So now China is now reversing their policy, basically, at least at the most conservative level, starting to give, ushering in the clarity to at least the top players at minimum to start getting involved in Bitcoin. Do you understand the capital flow that can come from China if they're able to get into Bitcoin and crypto? This is absolutely monstrous. So we need to understand that these dominoes, you might feel like they've all fallen, but we've got about 37 million more dominoes to fall from the corporations and nation state and regulation. It's just only now getting started. Then we got, I said this last night, Bitcoin 2 trillion market cap inbound, currently about 1.9. That's what we're still at today. And this is just the beginning. Where do you think the Bitcoin market cap is going to peak this cycle? Consider that. I think Bitcoin market cap, the Bitcoin, not crypto, the Bitcoin market cap peak will likely be somewhere, if I had to guess, somewhere in the 3.5 to 5 trillion range. Now, the altcoins, I think currently, let's actually see what the altcoin market cap. That's actually, we can come over here, go right here, come here, go to total two. Total two. We're at 1.24 trillion. I think this is likely going to get somewhere in the, I'd say 5.5 to 7.5. This is basically all the altcoins, everything outside of Bitcoin. Now, guys, we have, I mean, you can even see here on others, you can see this is just trying to work its way to get that next leg of the upside. The total three, I should say, this is, I mean, everything is setting up so beautiful that it worries me. Do any of you all feel a little skeptical right now? Let's actually ask each other that. Do you feel skeptical about this price action? Do you feel like a monster correction's inbound just to really shake things up, to wash things out? Or do you think the buying pressure is just too strong and this is going to just rip the bears' faces off continually and a persistent just melt to the upside? Let me know what you think there in the live chat. I can see all your comments right down here. I have a whole different setup while I'm here in Vegas. Again, I'll be got that event I'm doing tonight, but I'm here. Had to break the markets down with you. Then we see this: engines already are warming up. Did you buckle your seatbelt, or are you waiting to get in the rocket ship after it's pushing out of the atmosphere? Unfortunately, the large majority of people are going to be buying at 120, 140, 170. Now, here's the deal: anytime is a good buy. If you're like Michael Saylor, because what is he doing? He's buying on the way up, he's buying on the way down. If you buy on the way up and it starts to pull back and you sell, then what the fuck are you doing in this market? You do not enter a market to buy high and sell low. That is the opposite of what your goals are. If you're willing to buy at any level, you need to be at least willing, especially if it's high, to hold at least 3 to 5 years minimum. If you're buying at a bottom, you can hold, for 800 days and catch basically the whole market rip to the upside. But as it stands right now, this is where we're at. What are you waiting on? This is, I mean, look at this. 2015, there was a 481% move to the upside after this point. 2018, 2022, we saw 597% move to the upside from this point. 2022, we see a 570% move from this zone. And this is where we're at right now. Are we going to get somewhere between 3 and 5x? We're going to have to see. We have to take this on a daily basis. There's no question about the strength of the bullish trend that is persisting right now. The question is going to be, is there going to be any sort of something like a geopolitical event? We're seeing a lot of tensions sort of accelerate in the other half of the world over there with Russia and Ukraine, and it's still going to be interesting to see what happens with Iran and Israel and Gaza and all these sorts of things could have major impact on what the risk narrative is in market. And the question is going to be, does this still fall within the risk narrative of investors? Technically speaking, I think this is the least risky asset you can own. But then again, that all has to do with the time horizon that you're participating in on this market. So let's just be aware of where we're at, because up from here, the question is, how far is it going to go? Now we look, also, Bitcoin is now worth more than the top 3 global banks combined. Bitcoin is it's actually over this now, about 1.9, 1.95 trillion. I mean, this is eating up all of this. JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, IC Bank of China. It's here. Anybody that would argue that Bitcoin still has no value because they don't understand it is just an absolute jackass. I hope we don't have that 20 to 30% correction until after we start getting alt season pump. Shout out Bab Fox. You know what? That's true. That's a great comment. And the reason why that is important is because if we do get a pretty big, let's say 20 to 30% dump on Bitcoin right now, we would see a huge reset, I would think, on altcoins. I don't think as the market really starts to rip to the upside, as we see capital flows in this market, uh, we tend to see Bitcoin pump, and when it goes sideways, it consolidates a bit, maybe a small pullback. That's when you see altcoins rip. But I think there's still that barrier, the hurdle that everybody's paying attention to at $100,000, not only just ticking beyond it, but going past $100,000, but then also having the volume and the follow through to see continuation. And then I think whatever consolidation we have after $100,000, that's when we start to see pretty good rippage in the altcoins. It doesn't mean we can't see price action moving up, in the interim. It just means, will it outpace the speed of which Bitcoin is pumping? That's when you get alt season. So let's continue on here. I want to run through these. We got Jesse Olson coming on here in just a couple minutes. Seems fitting for Bitcoin to hit $100,000 today in honor of this historic signing. This just blows my mind. Good morning. This is today. Today, in 1620, the Pilgrims signed the Mayflower Compact, agreeing to self-governance principles before landing at Plymouth. So the self-governance principles they signed when coming in to potentially establish and form a new, basically, way of life, a new way of living, a new government, new all of it. And this is the day that we're tackling potentially breaking $100,000 Bitcoin. I mean, golly, it couldn't be more magnificently sentimental than that. Are the engines turning off? Coinbase Premium, this means when there's a lot of spot buying, you start getting a spread of Bitcoin becoming a little bit more expensive. It's called a premium on Bitcoin spot buying. But what we're seeing right now is the premium index disappearing as soon as Bitcoin tagged $98,000, meaning spot buying started to retreat. Two things are for sure. We will see a MicroStrategy. We will see a MicroStrategy has acquired X amount of Bitcoin tweet coming soon. The other one is ETFs need to step up today to keep the price elevated. If we get the lack of follow through of buying pressure, what starts to happen is you have this oscillation of the very bullish narrative. And if the bulls start to just maybe not even sell, but if there's not as much buying pressure, then what happens is you have this oscillation back over to where the sentiment, the speculation, the bears start to take over. And that doesn't mean a crash down to 40K. It doesn't mean a crash down to 50K. It doesn't mean a crash down to 60K. It means that we may get a little bit of a correction to the downside that in my opinion, will more likely be a bear trap than not. But we'll ask Jesse his thoughts on that when he pops in here in a couple minutes. And then what else we got here? We got bullish record $9.7 billion in stablecoin inflow this month could drive Bitcoin to 100K. Well, I mean, we're literally, arguably we're at that level. Regionally, we are at that level, 98, 98.4. Some exchanges a little higher, some exchanges a little lower. In Australia, it's 150,000 Australian dollars. So it's all somewhat arbitrary, but regionally, we are essentially within a margin of error of that $100,000 level that it only felt like a pipe dream not too many years ago. And yet we're seeing massive inflows of stablecoins, meaning, hey, we're getting this onto exchange. We have these stablecoins. Let's get them into an exchange so that we can effect a purchase when we want to. So massive bullish news there. Now, $1 million Bitcoin is crazy. Holy moly. You know what's crazy? Your grandparents used to pay 15 cents for a hamburger, and now you're $36 trillion in debt. This is my favorite tweet of the apps, of our time frame. The best, in cap, how do you spell the cap? Encapsulation of our time. Bitcoin Govern. There we go. And with that being posted, I see we got a lovely little chap sitting here in the wings. I'm going to go get you on guest one. If you're going to share your charts at all, Jesse, just to have it up so I can assign it to a proper role. But I hope we get to peek into under your hood and look at what's going on. I got two more things I want to show here, and then I'm going to be bringing you right up, my friend. Now, looking at this, where's my mouse at? There we go. Coming right over here, we got Bitcoin bull market is starting. I think I don't think. I hope none of you need a chart that tells you that the Bitcoin bull market is starting. Well, for one, I would argue the Bitcoin bull market started right here when we broke after this $15,500 bottom. The breakout here with the first higher high followed by the first higher low. This area was the start of the bull trend. People doubted it here. Up here, oh, it's over. It's never going to break through. This just moved money from the impatient to the patient. And now what is this? It's just rise, retrace, continuation, retrace, continuation, retrace, continuation. At some point, we're going to get a retrace. Is it going to happen soon? I don't know, but I know my buddy here does. And I apologize for the slow screen switching. I did not bring my little screen switcher. So I've got to look at this tiny little menu and pick the screen that we are on. Where is interview? Boom. There it is. Miss my guy. Oh, hold on. Hold on 1 second. I got to, I didn't realize that was not saved over. Boom. There we go. What's up, my guy? How you doing?
Good morning. What's going on, Kelly?
You know what? I'm so stoked about everything that's happening in the crypto world right now. This is just, it's like I've expected it, but then I doubted myself because could it be so? But we're here, man. We're seeing some freaking magic. But let's start here first. Let's start with a little bit of gratitude. I'm grateful that you're a friend of mine. I'm grateful that we've been in this market talking these things for a couple years now. I'm grateful to see outside of the charts, you got a beautiful little one out there that you're raising and having a break from these markets throughout the day and love and family, because that's what this is all about.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And I'm grateful that she's sleeping more through the nights. So that helps out a lot. The first couple months, I'm not going to lie, is tough. It's tough. But you know what prepared me for this? Was actually trading Bitcoin with 10x leverage in 2021, because I slept with like one eye open for like a year and a half. And so that no sleep actually prepared me for the baby for the first 2 months. It's kind of crazy to think about that. But yeah, we're truly grateful. Man. Not only for, Bitcoin pumping, that we are talking about this in 2022. That I was sharing charts and you were too. Bitcoin breaking out that 16,800 level. 2022, I just kept saying over and over and over and over again. I was like, just give us one more bull cycle. Just give us one more bull cycle, please. For the sniper family, right? One more bull cycle. And here we are. So
what do you, are you caught it off guard at all with how quick this move has happened since November 5th? And if so, do you feel like we're potentially getting overheated, or do you feel like the momentum and the sentiment is kind of piling in a way that could be a little bit more sustaining than people expect? Because we got that massive CME gap down at like $80,000. I'm kind of starting to feel like that might not be seen until a major pullback many months from now.
Yeah, so not surprised, just because I don't know if you do have my chart pulled up. So on this chart, I was comparing MicroStrategy to Bitcoin, and I was showing that MicroStrategy broke out first again, and when it broke new all-time highs, I posted a chart on Twitter, AKA X. I still call it Twitter for whatever reason, but it's hard ingrained in me. But Bitcoin was at $65,000. It looked like a very similar setup, and MicroStrategy, like I said, made new all-time highs compared to 2021, right? And so it looked very similar. You can see like the consolidation was similar. I was showing you on the chart. Sorry.
I got you. No, I'll go back.
So can you see my cursor? Yeah. So you can see the consolidation was similar back here. And when it started making new all-time highs back in October, that's when I posted a chart. And Bitcoin at the same time in October hadn't made new all-time highs and is at about $65,000. So thankfully, I'm always trying to look for like a possible leading indicator. Sometimes it's ETH, sometimes it's Bitcoin, sometimes it's MicroStrategy, right? So in this case, it was MicroStrategy, and at 65,000, I was not surprised to answer that question. Is it overheated? Absolutely. But one thing I've always talked about is price can remain overbought or oversold for much longer than what people think, including myself. And so it's just kind of like, okay, if MicroStrategy broke out first, what if MicroStrategy hits certain targets and Bitcoin hits the same targets? So I kind of compared just like maybe some milestones, and we don't know if this is ever going to happen or not, but MicroStrategy hit the 1.618. MicroStrategy hit the 2.272, the 3, the 4. I just put on a bunch of potential targets that NVIDIA also hit. NVIDIA hit all 5. Bitcoin has hit the 1.618 so far. The 2.272 price is closing in on. And so then I've got 3 as well. So I'm not going to put 4 and 5 on until 2.272 and 3 also get hit. But it's possible MicroStrategy is done, but it's also possible it goes up and hits number 5 like NVIDIA did as well. So I think that answered at least 2 of your questions. I don't know if there was a third one or not, but.
So you're kind of somewhat of the thought. I mean, I guess there's two trains of thought with MicroStrategy, for instance. People think it's just going to keep going up, but when you're looking at it just on a specific chart basis, when you're not just looking at context, it's like this fucker is overheated. Like it is nuclear. But this is such a narrative shift that I guess it's just you got to just have a time horizon on this and not be worried at every moment. I guess I don't really hold any MicroStrategy. I know a lot of people do. But I mean, it's exciting. I feel like it's putting institutions and corporations on notice. I mean, I think it's exciting that MicroStrategy is having him come and do a presentation at their shareholder meeting, because that would be, when we start getting this arms race of other institutions and corporations really meaningfully, not just the early adopters that bought the first quarter of the Bitcoin spot ETF. I feel like this can be a very exciting year.
Yeah. So it is overheated and it can remain that way. But we're looking at the MicroStrategy or Bitcoin 2-week chart, and then MicroStrategy. See, this one is the weekly chart. So obviously I'll be looking at like the daily chart if I was in MicroStrategy trying to look for possible take profit. Again, if you were a buyer back here at 142, will it go to $1 million Bitcoin or $2,000 MicroStrategy? Possible. But if you're treating this like a trading business or investing business, at some point you're going to want to lock in profits, because the faster it pumps to the upside, the faster it drops to the downside. So that's what happens is, the typical investor out there who doesn't stare at charts all day long like we do is probably buying where the orange candles are. And then when they get in, they get rug pulled by the ones that are pushing the price the most, right? So there's whales out there that are pushing price. It's not me. It's not you. I don't think it's you. There's other bigger players out there that's pushing price. It's not, they keep saying that retail is not here. Well, retail doesn't, newsflash, retail doesn't push these prices like this. It's bigger players, right? So, but they want to catch more retail in so that they can, exit with some profit themselves too. So that's my own personal opinion. And whatever goes up fast and forever, right? Up only forever also comes down fast. So, and sometimes even faster. They say it takes the stairs up and the elevator down. It's taking the elevator up. So what's going to happen if the elevator stops and then comes right back down, right? If you look at the SMCI chart, it's another one that went 2,000%, and it went parabolic, very similar. And then it crashed 82% recently and came all the way back down the 200-week moving average. If you look at the 200-week moving average on MicroStrategy, don't look now. It's at $69. And on Bitcoin, it's still at 41,840 roughly.
Wait.
So
Did
at
you just
some
say the
point,
200 moving average on MicroStrategy is $69?
yeah, it says
That's,
$69.
that's
Uh,
that
but
just speaks to how fast it's moving.
and that's the thing is like in 1 year ago, 1 year ago, it was a buy signal at like $38 on the 200-week moving average. So eventually it's going to come back to it. When, we don't have a magic crystal ball, but it will come back to it. Whether the 200-week moving average is at $300 at the time, or $120 or $80, whatever the case may be, it's eventually going to come back to it. You stretch a rubber band out one direction too far, it usually snaps back in the other direction. But try to push it, try to ride it as long as you can, and enjoy the ride. But just know, at one point it will be the end, and don't be caught holding the bag.
Yeah, I totally hear that. Sorry for the clunkiness. I have to mute and unmute myself because we were getting an echo on you for a second with my mic
Oh,
unmuted.
sorry.
And I don't have my switcher, so I'm doing it all with my mouse. I just want to shout out. We're gonna look at a bunch more charts, everybody. But before we dive into that, I do want to just shout out really quick. Where's my let me copy this real quick. Copy and to guess my here we go. I just want to shout out everybody when you are tuned in here. Make sure you come over to my page here. We got the live stream here on Twitter. We obviously do a giveaway every week. Hit that retweet, hit that like button. You can also do it over on Academy BitLab, and make sure you are following. Make sure you are following our boy right here, Jesse Olson, JESSEOLSON. Make sure you're giving him a follow here as well. Everybody, get this retweeted out. Get as many people in the room as possible because we got a lot more alpha we're going to be going over here for about the next 15 minutes. And I just want to just say again, thank you, Jesse, for popping on here with us. So, ETH finally made a little bit of a move today, man. Got a little pop from right off of a pattern that I've been watching for a while, breaking to the upside. It's looking like it's trying to make a move towards 4,000. Everybody was starting to say it's dead. And my argument is when everybody's starting to say something's dead, that's when I'm like, yo, this might be the thing I want to be buying because it's happened every cycle so far. And how are you feeling about ETH?
I'm feeling good actually because price actually did come back down and test the 200-week moving average, and from that point on, it gave us another gift, right? I love it when they give us a gift, and the gift was there was bullish divergence at key support on a 200-week moving average. This is the weekly chart again, but if you drop down to like the daily chart, you can see there's bullish divergence, and it took a while. Like Bitcoin was doing its thing, and then that last breakout here at about 2,700, we had the chart on there talking about the gap fill from the CME gap. It filled it, it consolidated again, and now it's starting to break out again. And if you zoom out here on the weekly chart, we've got similar setup. If you get back above here, like Bitcoin, like MicroStrategy, like NVIDIA, like all these other assets, then see rocket ship. Then what if Ethereum also hits the 1.618, similar to Bitcoin, similar to these other assets we're looking at? It's still, if you think about it in those terms, it's still super early. It hasn't even hit the rocket ship area yet, and it could take some time to play out. This is a weekly chart. So is it a guarantee? Obviously not. But if it's going to hit similar targets as Bitcoin, it could just be lagging time-wise, and that is the opportunity. So that's always my thought is, if you missed Bitcoin, that sucks. If you missed MicroStrategy, that sucks. But guess what? Don't chase. Look for the next one that has a similar looking setup that has not gone parabolic yet, right? So that's Ethereum. That's some of these altcoins. You could, instead of FOMOing in and you missed it and then get rug pulled, look for the one that looks similar but hasn't done its thing yet, like Bitcoin. That's my 2 cents.
It's so difficult with the mouse clicking on everything. So okay, we got Bitcoin, we got ETH. What are some of the other things? Solana and Sui seem to, for a short period of time, had a bit of had a bit of a battle of who is going to take the lead, if you will. It seems like Sui had a little bit of a outage the last couple of days. But are you what are you looking at for Solana and any other crypto charts you're looking at, whether it's BitTensor or Near, or if you have anything there, I'll kind of let you kind of take us through what you're watching.
Yeah, this is Salana, right? And very similar setup again to ETH. ETH isn't even above the rocket ship area. Solana just went above 2 weeks ago, right? Or the last, not this weekly candle, but the last weekly candle closed above it. And then I put up here, Bitcoin is above here at that 1.618. I don't know if you can see it, but it's $415 up there. So it just flipped ultra bullish on the weekly chart. It just went above this area. This line is probably based off of the monthly chart, I believe. So that's why it looks a little bit different. And then we could just go down the line. I have like 5 to 10 that I'm watching. Near is hitting shorter term targets similar to Ethereum, but has only hit 2 of the 4 longer term targets. I would put the rocket ship above here at $15. Algo is hitting shorter term targets, but hasn't hit any longer term targets yet. So there are a lot of opportunities out there. Even Algo is so early, in my opinion. Like I said, hitting shorter term targets based off of the daily chart. These are more based off of longer term targets. You're talking about possible 1,000 percenters still from here at current price at 20 cents. If it came all the way up and hit the middle of the target box, it's 825%. If it came all the way up here and just retested the all-time high, that'd be about 1,300%. So there's a lot of potential out there. And then, of course, if it hits the Bitcoin target up here, then then you should be sending me a Christmas present, 2,000%.
I mean, one thing's for certain right now, and that is how exciting it really does. I know we've kind of felt like it for a long time, but we had a 7-month consolidation, which if I think we're all going to look back at that and we're going to say what a gift that was for the market. As frustrating as that was, it was a 13-year market cycle that we saw from zero to $19,000. We're doing $19,000 moves up and down for 7 months. The entire market cycle we saw that took 13 years, we did multiple. It was 8 times up and down over a course of 7 months. And as frustrating as that may have been, I really do feel like it was a necessary sort of substantiation of like a bullish base for where we're going. Do you feel like, with all the context, I know you're a chart guy, but do you feel like with the context as it has been laid out over since January 11th, with the advent of all the Bitcoin spot ETFs, how the records that they're breaking, now we have the Bitcoin ETF options, we have nation states that look like they're likely going to start stacking against each other, corporation. Is this all just too much bullish bullshit in our head that's giving us too much of a hopium of like this is going to go higher than expected? Are you still maintaining a similar sort of upper target, or are you just kind of taking it week by week and seeing how the momentum's carrying?
A couple of those things. So I do take it week by week, and I'm mostly on this the daily chart for swing trading, but I try to zoom out, look at the weekly chart. What's the 2-week chart doing, and even the monthly, just for overall direction. You need the hype machine. The hype machine's pumping right now, and it's probably going to get louder and bigger. And you're going to. I've already started to see $1 million Bitcoin stuff. But the key is if you're a long time hodler and you never sell, then obviously what I'm about to say or what I've been talking about as a chart guy means nothing to you. But if you're a swing trader, you need the hype machine to keep it pumping. But at the same time, yeah, you got all the ETFs, you got all the stuff. It helps out with leverage to pump it up. Those ETFs with leverage also help it with to the downside. So just be aware of that. And if you recall, because you were around back then, was 2021. And a little quick history lesson if you're a little bit newer. A lot of those companies that were pumping it, and me included, I was Bitcoin 32,300. I went 10x leverage and pumped it. And took profit at 61,000 with that move. There was Three Arrows Company. There was many companies that were over leveraged, pumping Bitcoin, thinking it's going to go to $100,000, and they all went bankrupt. Right? I think Three Arrows went bankrupt. There was many companies that went bankrupt because they thought it was going to go to the moon back then. There was $100,000 talk. There was $1 million Bitcoin talk. Willy Woo is talking about the random walk to $1 million back then. Here we are 3 years later, still not even close, but still not even to 100,000 yet. I mean, we're less than $3,000 away. So obviously, I think that happens. But just be aware that whatever's getting talked about by the talking heads and hype, in my opinion, it's like deja vu from 2021, 2020. It could keep going for a while, but all of the things, they're hitting all the similar talking points as they did back in 2020 and 2021. So just be aware of that, in my opinion.
All right. So one of the narratives that is on everybody's wish list, hope list, stack list, AI. We see Grayscale obviously has their AI fund. BitTensor is the largest player in that. I actually saw something. Quentin Francois, another friend of mine, analyst in the space, shared this. Let me go ahead and pull this up really quick, which actually surprised me. The top AI projects by revenue. This just surprised me because I've been stacking into Near for some time, and this is actually this is phenomenal. But track the Origin Trail, formerly known as Origin Trail, doing incredibly here. Render, kind of not doing as well on the revenue front, but still, sort of outpacing a lot of the pack. Do you feel like? What's your thoughts on AI in this coming sort of parabolic move, potential? We still have to say it. I don't think people realize this potential altcoin season. We may not see a cycle like we've seen in the past, but do you think the AI plays are going to broadly do fairly well, or do you think it's going to be sort of pick and choose? Some are going to get dubbed white knights, and other ones are, for the most part, not going to do well.
Overall, yes. And if you want to share my screen real quick, I'll show you a couple examples. This is an AI stock. I know there's a crypto channel, but I'll switch on. But just look at the opportunity for AI itself, right? You've got this AI stock that's gonna pump hard. Very similar to like an altcoin. It's already up like 27% in a short period of time. And then if you switch over to Near, I've been following Near for a while, and Near has some big potential, in my opinion, too. If you look at like the Bitcoin target, probably could see it around $35 or more. So yes, I do think when you combine AI, which I already think is going to be a huge move to the upside, including.
Can I pause you for just
Lemonade.
1 second, just so people understand where you're getting that number from? When you say $35, are you taking a fib from cycle top, cycle bottom 1.618, or what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's very simple. The fib retracement from the very top all the way down to the bottom, top wick down to the bottom wick, drawn out that 1.618 would eyeball test to probably be about $30 to $40 probably. I would have to draw it out, but not hard to do. But and then real quick, like Lemonade, I know it's an insurance company, but 13 months ago, I posted a video on my AI stock video, and Lemonade has incorporated AI into every aspect of their business, and it's moving like an AI stock now.
Is this AI insurance?
What's that?
Is this Lemonade Insurance?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I have them, so that's great. I didn't know they were incorporating AI.
Yeah, according to internet, right? I'm not sitting on the board or anything, but they've incorporated AI into every aspect of their business. Back like 13 months ago, they released that information, and it's outperforming MicroStrategy in the last month, which is crazy. So it's up 180% in the last month. It's outperforming MicroStrategy already, but that's another like AI related stock in my opinion. And then of course you go back to like, now you take AI, which is everywhere that we see now, and then you put it with crypto. Yes, the answer to your question is I think it's going to play a big narrative towards it. And so, yeah, that's why I have near on my sniper top 40. It's supposed to be sniper top 40. Maybe I should relabel it to like the top 200, but it's definitely in the sniper top 40 for those reasons. So, answer to long story short, yes.
So I don't know if you're willing to share this or not, but do you have, outside of the top 10, do you have two or three coins that you're like, you kind of, whether it's just because all of us, we're humans, we have a natural sort of magnetism sort of attraction to certain things for different reasons. It might be charts, it might be narrative, it might be, oh, I like the picture of the logo. It doesn't matter what it is. Do you have two or three different charts or projects that you're like, that you feel maybe are just not getting representative? People aren't really paying close enough attention, or you just might feel like are going to be some pretty stellar performers, and we're not going to hold you to it, just from your vision.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any like meme coins. I prefer my own personal thing. I know you can make millions of dollars on meme coins, right? But for me, I want a little bit more chart history, right? So if I can have a little bit more chart history, I can kind of like scope out the landscape and think, okay, well, this is how it reacted before. So I don't, but like all these coins on the watch list, I think have big potentials. Sand, XRP, right? Pumping. Cardano just hit longer term target 1. It's pumping hard. XLM hit target 1. H bar. This probably has the least amount of chart history on mine. Mana has not hit target 1. Filecoin, we don't know. Dot hasn't hit target 1. Chainlink, Fetch. I'm just going quick so I don't like bog you down, but Fetch is on there. Rari, I don't know. That's like a crapshoot on Rari. I don't know if that will pump or not. That's probably that would be like outside of my craziest scope. Theta just had a buy signal on the weekly chart last week. That has a lot of potential. That's the closest I get to memes personally. But those are mover and shakers potentially of 1,000, 2,000 or more percent. So that's probably the edgiest I could get for you.
No, that's you're right in line with me, and I actually made a comment to my community yesterday on here because people come in here and they want not all the time here on BitLab because we have a pretty smart community, and I'm not hating on memes. It actually blows my mind that there's so much liquidity that goes into them. However, it's just not something I focus on because I want to, like you said, I want the landscape. I want a chart that if we have this pullback, I can look at previous price action to give myself ideas of levels to watch for pullbacks, for resistance, for if it breaks through, where it might come back. So I actually am not just literally throwing, a dart in the dark, trying to, because what is there, like anywhere from 7,000 to 20,000 meme coins new printed a day? It's like, how the hell? I mean, literally, you might as
I
well
didn't
just
know
go
that. That's
outside.
crazy.
Dude, it's insane. So, and again, I'm not hating on meme coins. It's just it's not worth for me. It's not necessarily worth my time because it's like, hey, let's pick lottery tickets together. No, let's look at the fundamentals on some level, yes, but let's look at the chart. These charts, especially with the narratives at play. There's so much money to be made in this market without. I mean, let's be honest. There's risk in crypto. You're taking
Oh
on
yeah.
meme coins. You're taking on exponential, like quadruple, double risk. So it's like for me, yeah, I'm on the same page with you there. But
I've
you
always
did,
said
you
I'd
did, you did.
rather
Go ahead.
I've always said that I'd rather like know an asset inside out, and I would rather do. To me, it seems less risky to do Bitcoin with like 10x leverage than to do an altcoin or a meme coin. And for me, the meme coins, like, yeah, obviously we're human. We see something pump 10,000%, and we're gonna feel a little FOMO. But I just know that the percentage of people that actually make money on those meme coins, I would say if traders are less than 5% that make money, meme coin traders are probably less than 0.1%. And it's probably an insider who made it. We all saw that kid on video, rug pull everyone at 30,000, but could have been a millionaire. It's like, it literally is a lottery ticket or it literally is gambling. And me, I'm more of in denial. I'm trying to be more of a calculator risk taker than considered a gambler. So for me, it's fun to watch. I do feel a little left out at sometimes, but I have to hold true to what my core values are as a swing trader, and I need more chart history for that. So I'm kind of boring that way.
So here's a question for you then. We can start wrapping this out here in a few minutes because I know you got a lot of trading to do and you got the family to take care of. You might even have a golf game to go play. I know you're a big golfer. By the way, I don't know if you know this. I'm in Vegas this weekend. I'm DJing a
Nice.
crypto event. DJing a crypto event tonight at Mike Tyson's house. And
Oh,
some of the
really?
guys from Pink Floyd are gonna be there. Sugar Shea Mosley, a bunch of people. So I'll be posting some content from that.
Dang.
But what's that?
If I said, dang, if I was single and didn't have a 4.5-month-old, I would come up and join you for sure. That's probably only like 45-minute flight.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned it. I was like, because we're closer than we've been in a long time. Because you and I are always on opposite coasts, but a lot of chart history on XRP, and a
Yeah.
persistent, frustrating narrative on the one hand. On the other hand, uh, one of the strongest, most diligent communities. It's just been like, I'm fucking holding on until this pumps. Do you feel like XRP? Do you look at XRP just as a chart, or do you take into context that also? I mean, I think to my knowledge, it's the only crypto out there that is in process of also sometime in the very near future also going to IPO. Does that change the liquidity narrative of how this can pump, or are those people that are investing in the IPO, it's not even relevant to the liquidity that would be available in the crypto market? Like, where do you see XRP going? Are you just looking at a standalone chart, or are you taking context into this at all?
So my thoughts have changed on XRP. So uh, I always just used to look at it as a swing trade, and I always would tell people I don't trade XRP because it's a classic pump and dump every single time, and it's like catching lightning in a bottle. And so I always stayed away, and I always talked badly about it for people trying to swing trade it. However, and I don't want to get caught up in the narratives. I did invest a little bit on this breakout back here, spot only. It potentially could turn into one of those lottery tickets. Uh, I know that I don't do like the research on like fundamentals whatsoever. I caught myself doing a little bit of research on the fundamentals on this one, and it's possible because they're onboarding so many banks that, yeah, retail could probably push it, $2, $3, maybe $4 or $5. But if the banks get involved, and I think if you go to Ripple uh, documentation or whatever recently, they've talked about like all these. I think they did like 500 IDs or whatever to trade, and they have to use the XRP coin. So again, I'm not an expert. This is just recently. I spent like maybe 30 minutes on their website, and it's possible there is something there more than what retail has been pushing it up or down and getting rug pulled. Um, that I'm willing to put a small bet on it for long term and see what happens, because that would be one of those things where like, oh, you got lucky, right? Okay, I took the entry based off of trading, but I might be holding it as a possible lottery ticket for the future. So I've always been against it on swing trading. So this is like I use swing trading for the possible fundamentals of maybe there's something more there. I don't know. Obviously, none of this is financial advice, and we could all get rug pulled tomorrow. But those are my thoughts have changed on it. It's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, a lot to unpack there, but then it goes back, and I'm a little jealous of you on this point. That a part of it's because I do this show on a daily basis, and I do try to make sure we bring in some of the context of what's going on in the space, as well as how to navigate what's going on. And you're so locked into the charts. I think you save yourself a great deal of headaches. But you said something there too. I think it's very important, and all of us right now can agree with this, and that is the fact that No, if anybody tells you, Jesse, or me, or any of you that are watching the BitLab stream right now, or if you, even if it's your first time or whatever, if anybody tells you you got lucky in 2 years when you have $1 million in the bank, look back. I mean, all of you. I mean, look back at the frustrating moments and the stress. And I mean, there hasn't been a lucky freaking thing that's happened other than somehow I came across blockchain and crypto and, put my trading to that. And that was the luck that it was introduced to me and I had the wherewithal to take the step. I mean, we've all been bruised and battered and we have all gone on the hero's journey.
But there is a little bit of luck involved. But what they say the definition of luck is timing and preparation. Everyone knows how prepared you and I and a lot of other snipers out there have been prepared. All of 2022, all of 2023, and now we're into all of 2024. We've been prepared. We've been staring at charts all the time. We've gone through the pain. That is preparedness to the fullest extent over the last 2-3 years of this bear market. And now the timing of it is starting to come out. And so it's still going to take more skill to execute to be able to make life-changing money or potential life-changing money. It's going to take skill. And so it will be lucky. It will be luck, but it's when timing and preparation come together as one to get lucky, because you could have all the preparation, and if your coin doesn't pump, your coin doesn't go to the moon, you're not going to get lucky no matter how prepared you are. And so it does take all of it combined. So I would still consider myself lucky, aka fortunate, because we've been so prepared, but we also need that timing. We need that coin to pump.
No, absolutely. Now, before we go, we did get a super chat here from Morgan Powell. He said, best guess on basically Injective on this run. Do you look at Injective at all? I'd like to look at Injective. And there's another comment in here about Pole, formerly Matic. If we could take a look at those two. And then I got a final one hitter question for you to wrap it out.
Yeah, someone's had me look at Injective before. I don't have anything. See if I can pull it up real quick and just take an overall glance at it. But this is the weekly chart. So a couple weeks ago, I had a buy signal. I had someone had me look at it because there's bullish divergence on the daily chart. So again, bullish divergence, possible higher low, right? And then a buy signal following that. So you could draw it out where it's like that. You got bullish divergence, higher low, breakout, right? So that would be Injective. So, not a ton of chart history. It's probably why I don't. But it's got 3 years. So it made a new all-time high already. So, there was already such a massive move back here, 2,000%. So is it going to make a new all-time high now? I don't know, because it's already done the $2,000 pump, but it had a huge correction already as well. But it is breaking out to the upside, 75% correction almost. Bullish divergence. So it could at least pump back up to like $30, $40, $44, but I'm not sure it makes a new all-time high because it already went 2,000%. I don't know. That's what I kind of look on Injective. Matic, I haven't looked at it in a while, but looks very similar to the other altcoins that we already looked at.
What, Paul?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that actually, I would argue in some ways, kind of like ETH to Bitcoin chart, bled down so much. Like some people are saying, is Pole dead? No, Pole has so many damn integrations and partnerships. I think Pole's going to do just fine. I think people just get bored of why isn't this pumping yet? And I say, well, shouldn't you be looking at it if it hasn't pumped yet? It's like you said at the beginning of the stream. That's where you go and you find the money.
Yeah, that's when it's boring, when it's dead, when everyone hates it and no one's having a good time, that's probably a good time to buy. So it's getting very close on the weekly chart to multiple closes above the trending dots. It still might take some time to play out, but the daily chart already had a buy signal. So depending on what time frame you're looking at, already had a buy signal on the daily chart, and it's bullish on the daily chart, but the weekly chart could be in the near future. So take that for what it is.
No, I love it. Now, I guess last thing we'll wrap out here with just a little talking back and forth. I've been very transparent with my audience, and you can pass on this question if you don't want to answer it. But several years ago, one of the best things that happened to me in the crypto market is I lost about it was just shy of $80,000 in one trade, and at that point, it was that was a substantial. I'm talking almost, probably 80% of everything that I had in the market. I was the stupidest move I ever made, and I say it's the best thing that happened to me because it happened early enough in the cycles that I could utilize that as a lesson, or I could just leave the market. And it's one of the best things that ever happened because I learned from it, and it's really changed the course of how I interact with markets. So, what is whether it's your biggest loss or biggest mistake that you've had in the market that you've learned from. And the reason why I want to bring this up, just for preface, is because on social media, and yes, this is social media, it's not Instagram, YouTube is social media, Twitter is social media. Everybody talks so much about wins all the time, and they forget you only get to the point where you're winning because you've taken some pretty bad freaking losses. You made some stupid errors. So just we can wrap out with that and just let people know if they're making a mistake, there's something that they can learn from, and they can use that as a stepping stone.
Yeah, without going in like hours about my past, uh, I've learned these lessons a long time ago, and I probably talk about this the most. So I'm glad you brought it up. Uh, I went back to zero on the real estate crash 2008. I kept doubling down. I kept doubling down on real estate. I was in mortgage. I was doing fix and flips. And I instead of taking money off the table, yeah, I had savings, but not, you know, I should have had a lot more savings. And I went back to zero. That was that was one time. And going back to zero is hard to rebuild. So even if you could take 50% off the table, uh, and then you end up losing the rest of it because you're over aggressive, at least you have that 50% on off the table and diversified into something else, right? So when you come, if your crypto bag become pumping and they're hitting key target areas because you have exit strategy, as all people should, whether it's taking 25% off here, 50% off here, or 100% here, you should have an exit strategy before you ever get into an investment or a trade. And if you at least take off 50% and take it out of the crypto digital world and put it into something else, whether that's real estate, whether that's gold, silver, a car, whatever, even a car would be a bad investment, but it's better than going back to zero. So that's one thing. I haven't lost all my money in crypto, thankfully. But before that, I would have big swings on options trading. So luckily, I had a lot of tough lessons, not only for the real estate fix and flip game, 2008, but also trading options. You have big swings to the upside and you have big swings to the downside. So you never want to risk. Everyone always says this, but it's true. You never want to risk more than you can afford to lose. How do you know you're risking more than you can afford to lose? If it becomes over exciting, if you can't remain neutral, you're probably over leveraged, or you're probably over allocated to one thing, because it became way too exciting where you can't manage your emotions and your swing trades. So just be aware of that. If you can be self-aware of your emotions, you can see, hey, I'm feeling pretty excited right now. I might be over positioned. So just kind of try to keep that self-awareness. And the only way I can do that myself is reflect on past mistakes that I've done and just keep staring at the charts. Keep staring at the charts. Keep staring at the charts, because there are a lot of talking heads that will get you pumped up, and it's going to be hard to navigate when to take your profits if you get overhyped up yourself. And I did get overhyped up in 2021. I didn't lose money, but I gave back a lot on that 10x trade. When I got a 61,000, I probably could have gotten out at 63, 64, 65. It doesn't seem like a lot, but on 10x leverage, that was like $100,000 unrealized gains that I gave back. Unrealized. So, yes, it was one of the best trades of my career. But I gave back a lot because I was overhyped on it myself too, to be honest. So
Yeah, we've all been there, and one of the things I really persistent telling everybody in this community is there's no point in being rich on paper, taking screenshots, only to 2 months later be round tripped directly back or below where your entry was. But the market is, I mean, we are setting up. This is where we're at. We're all here doing this together. And golly, I'm so excited for every single person that's watching. And having friends like you, Jesse, that we could talk these things out and share this with the audience so they can listen and know what's going on. But big love to everybody here. I had something I wanted to ask you. I don't remember what it was. But what if you had to guess, what's your low side, medium, and this is pretty shocking targets for Bitcoin this cycle?
well, I was looking at targets back even like over a year ago, and the starting was kind of like 120 to that 150 range. So of course it adjusts over time. And then if you take in consideration if Bitcoin does hit like this higher target, oh, you can't see it. I'll just read it out to you. This higher target that MicroStrategy has already hit is 123. So those are newer targets laid out. The older targets were about that 120 to 150. And so it's starting to get more and more believable. Obviously, we laid out those targets a long time ago as just a potential thing, way back, like when Bitcoin was under $50,000. And here we are, right? We're getting closer and closer and closer. So 123 doesn't sound out of the ordinary. If MicroStrategy goes up and tags more targets, I'm going to lean that, for a long time, even before MicroStrategy even was hitting these targets, NVIDIA was already hitting these targets. And I was talking about, if NVIDIA can hit these targets, why not Bitcoin? Why
Well,
not
yo,
Bitcoin?
whoa. On that note, I know one of the. I think it's kind of a playful analogy, but where are we at on the Abercrombie and Fitch index?
Oh yeah, Abercrombie and Fitch. I haven't looked at it in a while, but it topped out. Where is that? But it hit similar targets. Then Nvidia hit those targets, and now we're hoping Bitcoin hits those targets. MicroStrategy is already starting to hit those targets. I don't even know if I don't know. I probably have it on here somewhere, but I haven't looked at it. But it looked like it topped out. But I haven't looked at it in a couple weeks.
Well, Jesse, I
But yeah,
appreciate you being here. Thank you for your time. Everybody, make sure you go and follow Jesse at Jesse Olson. He's also got Market Sniper Pro. He's always pumping charts out on a daily basis. He's absolutely killing the game. And it's a pleasure to always be able to talk with you. And thank you for hopping on here with us. Hey, man, we're here. We're strapped into the rocket. We're riding to the moon together. Maybe we're going to have a little dance party on the moon together. At some point, you and I got to get out and play a golf game or shake hands and kiss babies together, man. It's really good. Thank you for being on here, my friend.
yeah, I appreciate it as always. Kelly, you do a great job, and glad to be on here with you. So thank you for the invite. Have a great weekend and a great DJing session over there. And hopefully we can lock in some of these profits near the top and ride this wave as long as possible. So thank you. Appreciate it.
That's it, everybody. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and ding that bell. Big love to each and every one of you. That's all we got for today. We're going to head over to Blockchain Basement now, and we'll see you on the other side of $100,000. Let's go. Adios.
All right.